This was sent in by one of our listeners. Apparently police in Victoria are targeting modded four-wheel drives that are in the Vic High Country specifically. So they're using cameras in the Vic High Country to take photos of four-wheel drives driving through there. If they're deemed to be illegal, then the owner of that four-wheel drive gets a summons to present their vehicle for inspection, and then they cop like a massive fine and suspension of retro, obviously, until it's fixed.
And so they're saying this has come after a lot of single vehicle accidents in the area. So this is why it's coming out, and then adding to that.
So the Victorian High Country.
Yeah, to group that up, Jaden has found out as well that this is saying in South Australia, but you're saying WA as well, Jaden.
I think it actually might just be South Australia. I think I was wrong about the WA one.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah.
So using helicopters to track drivers sort of damaging tracks and vegetation through national parks and that sort of thing. So a bit of a crackdown on four-wheel drivers as a whole across the country. This is going to grind his gears here.
Look, taking photos and hiding around and doing that's one thing, which I don't think is very cool. But sending a helicopter up to look for cars, I mean, there must obviously be a problem because it would be pretty expensive to send a helicopter up.
Yeah.
So it's like there's two different things going on here. I reckon one, I don't know the context behind it, so maybe they actually have a problem.
Yeah.
With people just, trashing. The thing that upsets me is when they do close the track, all they're doing is they're stopping other people from actually going in there and doing the right thing, cleaning shit up. Because when they block a track, people who do the right thing are not going to go in there. But people who do the wrong thing, they're not going to give a shit. They'll go around it, they'll move it, they'll still go in there, and they'll still trash it. So it's kind of like a bit of backwards thinking.
Yeah. It's good. I understand the point you make there. It's like, it's like, wonder how bad the issue has to be before it gets to this. It does sound like, is it the right way to go about getting a better response from four-wheel drivers as a whole? I don't know.
Not knowing the context behind it, it's a bit hard for that one. But the other one I think is a bit cheeky. But, I mean, are they having massive problems?
Yeah.
Like, are they having, like, heaps of shit behaviour? Is there, like, a larger minority group that's just doing shit that's not cool? And then everyone else is just copying it now because of it.
And it sounds like safety is a big thing maybe for that top one with like a lot of single vehicle accidents, I'm assuming.
Like rollovers and things like that?
That's what I take from reading through that, I suppose.
That's a bit weird because it's probably more the nature of the terrain rather than if you modify a car to take on the terrain, then it should handle it better.
Yeah, true.
So it just maybe, these heavy modded cars, they're just pushing and trying to get, onto more crazier stuff. I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, it's, accidents do happen and you're never going to stop that. But every time an accident happens, they lower a speed limit or they do something else,
Yeah.
It's, I don't reckon that's shit. I don't like it.
I know. It seems extreme.
Yeah,
extreme. But
I don't know how lenient they are of it. So the context again, it's It doesn't sound cool though. Not knowing the context.
Obviously got their reasons. I think the biggest part, probably for the second one about the throwing the helicopters up and that sort of thing. Like we've mentioned it, especially earlier on when a lot of our early podcasts were based around beach travel, bush travel, camping here, camping there. I think just doing the right thing at the right time, looking after the places you go, sticking to the tracks where you can, all that, that basic stuff around four-wheel driving and getting out and exploring what we do have, but looking after it and protecting it too, because that's what will happen. They'll shut the gates on us, and the people, the grimy people, they'll still go and do what they've always been doing.
Yeah, and maybe that's the people they're having trouble with,
Probably.
Yeah. It's it sucks to see like tracks close and things, and often like take Wollbinga for example, they closed it off because they're like people are driving on the dunes and blah blah blah, but then that wasn't the reason why they closed it. They closed it because a developer bought it, and then they started bulldozing it, and they put a school, and then they put housing, and all kinds of other stuff. So it's kind of like they've got to be a bit lenient. They've got to give, and that's the other thing. If you close too many areas close to like a city central or like a dense population, you're always going to get the minority. They need somewhere to just do their shit because they're always going to trash something. Give them a place to go. It's like motocross, motorbikes. Provide a park for them. Provide a park somewhere so they can go there, enjoy what they're doing rather than just driving aimlessly through the bush, you know? I see heaps of motorbikes out in the bush. Where else are they going to ride, you know?
Yeah.
The problem is they'll drive down creek beds and all that, and they don't understand it, but every time you drive down a creek bed, once you get like 20, 50 bikes down that creek bed, next year when there's heavy rain, it creates this massive crevasse and washouts and stuff. But you don't see that unless you frequently go to the place.
Yeah.
And I see that a lot, and there's a particular area where I film a lot of modified vehicles.
Yeah.
And I use that for a lot of other filming as well. But every time I go there, it changes so much.
Yeah, right.
But, you know, that's because people don't have a place to ride.
Yeah.
Give them a place to ride.